hope everybody's been having a good one. Let me know if you can hear me okay. We have it set to subscribers only mode just because I don't have the energy for the shenanigans with the bots. So hopefully this gets them not to come in and leave their weirdness. So, anyways, how is everybody? Hey, Lindsay, how are you? Plus I knew Lindsay might be the only mod that makes it tonight too, so I wanted to not overwhelm her. If there is any bots or anything else that's going on. So I hope everybody had a good week. I know feels like this week flew by, but I was just crazy busy all week, so I don't know, maybe it was slow for other people, and I feel like everything that was going on with the Tory and Meghan trial had everybody kind of breaking their necks trying to keep up too. I saw somebody, I think it was in the Shade Room comments, saying I feel like I'm on the jury and I've never checked the blog so much as I have this week with all the twists and turns and trying to keep up with all the information that comes out during all the court recesses. So, I'm glad that you got to catch up on it, Lindsay. I thought that they did it so well. Whoever produced it, their production company, did a really, really good job of piecing everything together and the interview sections of it and everything. I haven't watched the new Kardashian series, but the way that they were describing how it was supposed to be, I thought it was going to be kind of more like the Harry and Meghan series, and then because they kept saying it was going to be a documentary style, and then the clips that I've seen online don't look anything like documentary style to me, so I was maybe the Kardashians need to call Harry and Meghan's team and be we need you to do the rest of this series, because all I've seen of people talking about, other than the paid blog post, is that people were saying it was boring as hell. Hey, Angela, how are you? I'm glad you made it. And we are not talking about any Real Housewives either, so hopefully you're into the Harry and Meghan and Lil Baby and Jayda stuff. So, oh my goodness. Well, I saw it. I don't know if you guys saw the clip that was going around, I guess. I'm did you guys not learn after the James Corden lie detector test that people don't believe you guys when you put out these fake lie detector test shows? Because I guess they did another one, her and Courtney. I didn't get to see all of it. I just saw a clip from it, and Courtney was asking her on the lie detector, do you still sleep with Tristan? And she said no, and the lady was she's telling the truth. And I was just okay. And then I looked at the comments and everybody was we don't believe you, and we need to hear what Ray J has to say about this. And I was laughing because I was really, after what happened with that other one on James Corden and the shit show that came out from that, it was are we gonna get Tristan on Instagram Live now and being Chloe's lying, we were sleeping together last night? Because I honestly wouldn't be surprised at this point. Also, speaking of them and their shenanigans, did you guys notice that right on cue, I just saw that what do you call, Kylie posted some picture, I guess Stormy made a mess with makeup in one of her baby dolls in the bathroom, and And of course, today they posted that Tristan has to pay Marley Nichols $9,500 a month in child support. And I was like, right on cue. Kylie posts the kids, and then they post something, some news, some story about an ex to distract because Kylie's name has been obviously dropped all week, and everybody's asking, oh, when Meghan went back into the party and saw Kylie and Tori doing something that pissed her off even more, were they hooking up? So it was like, distraction time. Let's make it, time to release a picture of something to do with the kids so everybody starts focusing on that instead. And let's put out a story about Tristan. So they're not slick. If you pay attention to the timing of everything, they like to do stuff like that. So, well, last time when they did that James Corden show, Lindsay, that was when they asked her, like, they asked, what's her face, Chris, if she, put out the S tape, and she said, no, we didn't do that. And so that was when Ray J got mad and went and aired them out on Instagram Live and started pulling up contracts and proving that they were a part of all of it and everything. So it's like, let me see who you guys want to start with. I put up a poll so you guys can vote. I forgot to do it earlier. Well, yeah, her name is forever going to be tied into this. I mean, it's like, especially I think just because we've been waiting for 2.5 years to finally get to this point, and there's been so much speculation and stuff that, and it was like Meghan could say whatever she wanted online. Tori wasn't allowed to talk about it. Kelsey kept saying, wait until the trial. We're at the trial. Kelsey ain't saying anything. It's just like, girl, really, you dragged us around for 2.5 years by our freaking by our necks just to get up there and be like, I don't remember. I didn't see that. I don't know. It's like I saw people were calling her amnesia today, and I was laughing because I was like, that's what it feels like, that she has amnesia. So we'll see. We'll do a live next week. Because supposedly the trial is supposed to be over by midweek. So hopefully it's over by Wednesday, because that would be easiest for me to be able to hop on and just do a live after that, and then we can go over everything, because Tuesdays and Thursdays are my craziest busy days. So I'm like, please don't be over on those days. Please be over on Wednesday or Friday, or even Monday, so we can do a live and discuss everything. But thankfully, Harry and Meghan have put out their docu-series, so we have something else to talk about tonight. So, and make sure you guys like the live. We have 28 people in here and only 5 likes, so let's get the up and then we'll start. But it's going to be interesting to see what Corey has to say when he gets on the trial. No, I liked her outfit. I mean, listen, Megan's a beautiful girl. Like, you're a liar if you say she's not. She's a very attractive person. It's, you know, and when I said nobody said that she didn't get shot, I meant nobody as in myself. Because people kept being like, but other people said, it's like, okay, let's play semantics. It's called colloquialisms and how I speak. And when I said nobody, I was referring to myself, not everybody single in the whole entire world. So, hey girl, how are you? Hey Kay, how are you? I hope everybody is doing good. I was like, oh, hold on a second. I forgot to share the live too. Like, where do I go for this? I'm in the back room part of it, so. Like, y'all know I'm slow. I just figured out how to, like, go into Stream Room today. I didn't even know that existed. Make sure if you guys just got in here that you like the live. You have to be a subscriber to comment. I just did that because the bots were out like crazy today. I had to block so many of them commenting on my video earlier. It was like my first comments. Like, I was trying to pin my comment and I had to go back and delete a bunch of like sign up for 18 and over dating like bullshit. So it's like, oh my god, how fast do you get here? And, oh, this is like, where did they all come from? Like, I was used to only seeing them on Instagram, and all of a sudden they're all over YouTube also, and I'm like, how? Oh my gosh. And speaking of which, though, I saw the funniest thing. It was on History for Cool Kids page on Instagram. Somebody like made a bot watch 1,000 hours of Hallmark movies and then make their own, like write a script for their own Hallmark movie. Like they made the bot do it. It was freaking hilarious. I'll have to find it and screenshot it and share it on my stories because I was cracking up. It like literally said like the lady owned a Christmas store and there was a man comes in and it said he's Hallmark movie attractive. And I was like, is that like a new that's like a new term I'm gonna start using for guys. Is he Hallmark movie attractive? But it said that her husband died in all the wars and that his family was killed by a Christmas tree that exploded, so he hates Christmas. And it was just like the funniest thing ever. I was so wrapped up into it that I was like, I would actually watch this Hallmark Christmas movie if the bot actually finishes rating it and it gets filmed. So, no, they're seriously like mosquitoes. Oh my God. I mean, even on like on the blogs on Instagram, you know, like if you happen to come on across like, oh, Shade Room just posted something and you click on it, all the first comments, always the stupid bots, get verified. Oh, come watch my video. Oh, I made 12,000 bazillion dollars with my forex trader, and I'm just like, Wow, they really got these things programmed to just be on top of everything, don't they? So, alrighty, guys. I was like, I guess we're starting with Harry and Meghan. So, what are your guys' questions about Harry and Meghan? Drop them down so that way we can get started because I'm exhausted. I've been up since I usually get up between 4:30 and 5 anyways, but I didn't sleep really well last night because I fell asleep listening to academics and Milagros uh, lives about the trial because I was going to take notes because I knew I was going to have questions about, little detail things. And I fell asleep listening to them and woke up on top of my covers with my earpiece still in at midnight. And then after that, it felt like I closed my eyes again, and then it was time to get up. So, okay, how does William feel about them? That's a good question. Did you guys watch the documentary, and how did you like it, by the way? And put question in front of it, guys, so that way I know it's a question. It doesn't just get lost in the sea of comments. Wait until you get into the last few episodes. That was where I cried a lot. Like when Meghan was talking, they talked about the miscarriage, I cried. And then when they said that, what do you call, when she was talking about like the death threats, oh my God. And she's like, I'm a mom and I like feel scared to put my kids to sleep at night. And I was just like, that was when like I just was like, oh my God, you poor thing. I wanted to give her a hug through the screen because that's got to be hard. Okay, let's see. Okay, so the first thing that's coming up is, number one, William doesn't have any compassion or empathy towards how does, my brother feel about all this. He just thinks, oh, Harry's just, always been a whiny ass crybaby. And he wasn't cut out for this. And this is why I'm the one that's supposed to be king because Harry wouldn't be able to handle it. And William really thinks like, oh, like I put everything to the side to fulfill my God given role as the future king, and so Harry can't understand the kind of sacrifice that it takes to be me and to live my life. And so he just honestly it's coming up that he thinks that Harry is like overly emotional and doesn't want to just chuck it up and you know stay within the role that you're supposed to stay in. There's a lot of being pissed off too because it's like I'm the older brother. I tell you what to do and you didn't listen to me and you went off and found your own way and abandoned us. But Spirit's saying a lot of this is too like him just holding on to this idea this way because if you have to see it from his side, then you have to look at where did I go wrong? Or is there maybe something here that I should, be standing up for myself more? Or I don't have to live this life, or questioning of myself. So it's like I'm just going to keep my head in this space of you're wrong and we're all right because I don't want to entertain any other idea about it. He's really been afraid of what else that Harry may say, because they definitely all, regardless of whatever the hell, their palace aides try to put out of, they didn't watch the Oprah interview. They didn't watch the Netflix special. They don't watch The Crown. They watch all of it. They watch it. They got their hands on this and watched it before it got released to the rest of us, because they have their ways of doing that. Because they were really shitting themselves about God knows what the hell they're going to say about us next, so we can be prepared for whatever onslaught of stories that may come out. And hold your guys' questions just so I can get through the ones that are already up, and then I'll take more after this. So he was really, really trying to figure, they had PR statements ready to go to counter any claims that may have made William look real bad. And the thing is, because especially if you watch the whole thing, I didn't think that anything that they said in this, whole thing was super inflammatory towards the royals. None of it was really that much new, when it came to anything that the family said or did. It was more, I think, shining a light on Harry and Meghan and their life and how they felt going through everything and why they left, and their story after they left. But he's still sitting there okay, maybe they didn't say all the bad stuff yet, because they know Meghan always gets hit the hardest. And so it was in the docu-series where she's obviously included, we're not going to say all the crazy stuff. Harry's going to come out with it in his book. So now he's just sitting there stressing out, waiting to see what's going to come out in the book. Something that they haven't said that this is coming up, both William and Charles have tried to pay Harry and Meghan to just shut up and go away. And they don't want to take it because it's not about money, and we obviously can create our own avenues to make money. We've got a podcast, we have the Netflix deal, we have book deals, and then you're going to feel once again, it's you. And that was the whole point of us leaving. It had nothing to do with money then. It was not being controlled, and we're not going to let you pay us to control us again. So get ready, because we are going to hear a bunch of BS rumors and stories about them. I know everybody's already gotten in their panties in a twist. The royal commentators who are, they're smearing the family, and they're just going to keep, running around with this sob story and constantly rehashing this. They're going to wait a couple weeks, and then they're going to start releasing more shit again, because they know that it also looks suspicious when all these bad stories come out about them at the same time that they ever tell anything. Because, good for them that they called it out when they did the Oprah interview, and at the same time, Meghan was bullying everybody in the palace, and then Meghan and Harry were like, yeah, that's not suspicious that you said that right when we're telling our side of things. So they're going to try to be a little bit more careful about it, but the smear campaign will definitely happen, and it is coming from William's camp. He's pissed. He's really mad. He really wants somebody to blame, and so he's definitely blaming Meghan for what his brother's doing, even though this was Harry's choice. Harry's not getting led around on a leash by Meghan. And Harry said in the documentary it was my decision to go. I'm the one that said we're out. We're not doing this anymore. And he wasn't lying and he wasn't trying to cover up for Meghan. It's the truth. So William is very upset with him, and he and Harry do not at all have a good relationship. Spirit said every time that there is any communication between them, it's just them arguing. Even if it starts out semi-nice, it turns into an argument. So, Teddy, you almost always miss my lives, and I do them at the same time every time. So, let's see. Let me get through the other. Let me finish up the first questions that I got, and then we'll take more after. So hold the questions for now, guys. So let's see. Harry and Meghan feeling now that they've released the documentary. Thank you, Spirit. And does Harry have any regrets leaving the firm? Thank you. Okay, first thing, Spirit saying that Harry has absolutely no freaking regrets about leaving the firm, so to speak. I mean, he really, when he joined the military, that was his way of trying to stay away, because he said, you know, originally when he enlisted, it was supposed to be for 3 years, and then it extended to 10, and he just kept re-enlisting and re-enlisting and re-upping his time, and he didn't really want to have to go back, and they, you know, they're the ones that leaked, the palace, meaning, are the ones that leaked where he was, because they knew Harry's never going to come back. He's just going to spend the rest of his life in the military as his way of not having to come home. So it was, you know, we got to do whatever we can to get him home. And they knew that if they leaked where he was and put everybody's safety in danger, then they could use it, you know, to get him back. And then he was angry and aimless when he returned because of that. And if you guys didn't know, he spent most of his time when he came back trying to go on every single overseas tour so that he didn't have to stay in London. So anyways, he has no regrets because Harry was always looking for his way out. He honestly, what Spirit's saying is, he kind of got, you know, I mean, he was extremely happy to marry Meghan, but because she was willing to join the family and play the, you know, we can make the most of this and be charitable people role, he was kind of like, oh shit, now I'm stuck here. So that's why it really, Spirit said, it really truly was his decision to leave when it was time to go, because it was like, I've always wanted out of here, and this is the only way that, you know, maybe we can get out of here, and this is my excuse to finally get the F out of here. So they're happy overall. You know, they feel relieved that they got to tell their side of the story and put a lot of the questions and speculation about them and their motives and what they did and didn't do to rest. Of course, you know, they understand that the people who are hell-bent on painting them out to be the bad guy, we're still going to see it that way, but it was more so, at least we told our side of the story, and that's all we can do at this point. And the people who are supposed to believe us will. The people who don't want to believe us are never going to, and that's, you know, but we're at peace with it at least. So they're good with it. Let me see. Will they ever go back to the UK? Let's see. They'll never move back there. but they'll go back and visit here and there for different things, but they won't be so quick to come back for certain events the way that they would have if the queen was still alive. Because Harry still felt a real connection and had a real relationship with the queen. He doesn't have that with his dad, to be honest with you. And so Spirit saying, unless there's this complete turnaround where Charles really makes this effort to take Harry's side more and apologize to him and, try to mend things to Harry, it's like, I'll come back for your coronation, or if you're on your deathbed, or if there's something that's truly 100% really, really, really important, then yes, but otherwise, I'm not gonna, come back that often. They'll go back for their own stuff, though, like for their own charities that they support, but not for family birthday parties and stuff. I know, I was like, Sana, do I have to unmake you a mod? I'm sorry, Camry. That was an accident by Sana. She didn't mean to hide you and I unhid you. I'm sorry about that. I don't know if that makes you unsubscribed and you have to resubscribe to join back in. I apologize. So, okay, drop some more Harry and Meghan questions so we can get through them and then move on to Jayda and Baby. That's like the weirdest name to pick for yourself as a male rapper. Lil Baby. Like, when you really think about it, I mean, first of all, again, like I always say, like, I would want my name to not sound like anybody else's because I want to always stand out. I want you to remember me, So, hey, girl, sorry about that. Seda hit the wrong thing. She didn't mean to hide you. Well, yeah, it's trying to ride the Lil Wayne train, of course, but it's just so weird to me because it's like, wouldn't you want to, like, everybody knows you and they're like, that's Sunset Jazz or whatever, like, crazy cool name that, like, really, really, like, sticks out. But when you're Lil Baby, I don't know. And then, I mean, at some point, too, it's like, when you're 55 years old, do you want people to still call Lil Baby? I mean, that's the thing that I think that they don't think about either. Like, someday, would you not want, like, would you ever grow out of this and not want to be called Lil Baby when you're a senior citizen? So, okay. Will Meghan and Harry have any other businesses they'll venture off to? Spirit saying yes, Lindsay. I keep feeling like they'll end up having either some kind of a website that it's like a marketplace where it creates like sustainable goods and it's, created by women, that are in like places in Africa, the Middle East, India, where them being able to create these sustainable goods brings an income into them, and there's this whole focus on making sure that there's equitable pay for them and it's not created through slave labor because it's like we're able to make sure that you can buy clothes, home goods, things like that that you can feel good about because you know that it wasn't created through slave labor and it's using sustainable resources and it's not, plastic crap that's going to release bad things into the environment. And then on top of it, these women and people who would otherwise not have the ability to have a decent income are able to make that for themselves as well. So, Spirit saying that's something that they're probably already working on or have discussed and are trying to kind of put into plan, of how do we go about that. So, yes, Lindsay, because that's something that they're both super passionate about is the volunteer work. And I do feel like, I've always gotten this too, you guys. It's just a random prediction, but I always say this like here and there about them. I always feel like even though they said, that they were going to have 2 kids and be done, I always see them adopting a child from Africa and specifically a little girl. I just always see them with another girl and she's very dark skinned. And it's really, like she has a real sad story of like, we went there and we just so connected with this little girl who was an orphan. And, she particularly was like, just loved Meghan and Harry fell in love with her. And, they weren't planning on having any more, but they ended up adopting her because it was just like, the second that we saw her, we knew that she was supposed to be in our family. So I don't think they're done yet. I think they're done having their own, but I don't think that their family is done growing yet. And it won't be no Angelina Jolie, I stole your baby story. She'll really be a true orphan. If you guys never heard that story, Zahara's mom came out later on and was like, my brother said he was taking the baby to the hospital so she could get a checkup from the doctors, and the next thing I knew, my daughter was adopted out. So they basically stole that little girl, and then everybody got paid off for that story to go away, and apparently she got threatened or something. So, yes, Dana. Well, let me just tell you guys this too. Think about, not only did William have all these like affair rumors that were going on at the time that would be a real motive for them to be like, let's put out all these stories about how Meghan supposedly terrorizes everybody or spends too much of Charles's money to buy all these designer clothes. But also think about what was happening during that time too. Who is getting exposed for all their Epstein connections? Randy Andy, the Queen's favorite son. So there was a real get the focus off of this because think about it. There was so many people that at first were like, he needs to be stripped of his titles. He needs to not be, out there doing all this so-called charity work. He needs to not be around children in his charity work because that's just giving him access to go do horrible things to somebody else. So Meghan was the convenient, look over there. Don't pay attention to the fact that the Queen hasn't done anything about Andrew. Cover up. Lindsay, no, because you know why. Number one, if they're to admit that they're wrong, then that means that all the other people that they constantly run stories on would then have a recourse to come after them and sue them because, Meghan and Harry are the biggest stories, of course, but they're tabloids. they're still constantly running stories, true or untrue, about other British celebrities. And so if they do that and they start admitting, like, oh, like, we fucked up and we shouldn't have done that, then everybody else that they drag through the mud could then go and sue them and be like, you did this shit to me, you bullied me, I want to hold you accountable, where's my apology? And then they'd have to apologize to everybody, and then guess what? What do you have to run anymore, and how are you going to make any of your money? It's to them, they're just going to keep still running horrible stories about them as long as they can get away with it because it's their biggest moneymaker. So, you'll see when you finish watching the documentary, Lindsay, like Harry was saying, they actually like it when they get sued because then they get more stories to run. This is what came out today in the lawsuit. This is what Meghan had to put into the court today against us, and this is our response to it. So then it's even more stories to sell, and they're getting even more attention and more money from it. And it's just like this never ending circle. And so, of course, as long as there's money involved and you're still profiting off of it, then what's the incentive to stop? And that's why Harry and Meghan were suing them, because it's like, well, if you have to keep paying us, then maybe at some point it's not going to be worth it to you anymore to keep harassing us. And so, it was just kind of like, where does the battle end? Oh my God. Wow, Sana. See, I don't really pay that much attention to like British tabloid news. I mean, I watch like British World News sometimes just to get an outside of the United States perspective on not just our stuff, but what's happening outside of, in the rest of the world. Because I feel like American news can be so biased, and it's like depending on which channel you're watching, they're Nancy Pelosi is the best thing in the world, and then you turn the channel the other side, and they're Republicans, and she's the biggest monster that ever existed, and nobody just tells you the facts anymore. It's always filtered through the lens of which side they're on. So I end up watching a bunch of different things, but I don't pay attention too much to like the celebrity news over there or like the other kind of news. So I didn't know that they were doing that. That's that's horrible. Well, you know what, Teddy? You want to know something too about it? What is more popular in America these days is black celebrity news, let's be honest. Number one. And number two, there's all these different blogs, on Instagram, Facebook, there's the TikTok reporters, there's the YouTube commentary channel. So it's like we don't need People Magazine and Star at the grocery store. It's like the only people I think that like buy those are maybe older ladies who haven't discovered the world of gossip blogs on the internet yet. But everybody else, it's just like, oh, I could just go on the shade room, or I could just watch a T channel on YouTube, or the TikTok commentaries or whatever. So it's like there's no need to sit down and actually read a magazine and pay for it, or wait for them to come out once a week with their stuff when you get it covered constantly all day. And even if you are more into the white news kind of stuff, there's TMZ. So, I think that that's really what's killed the tabloids, but we just have we still have a tabloid. It's called the Shade Room, and it's a blog. So, are they mentally healthy? Let's see. And if you guys have any more questions about Harry and Meghan, drop them below, and then we'll move on to Lil Baby and Jayda. They're doing better. They take turns, and every day is sort of up or down, says Spirit, because it's like, maybe one day, like, Harry's having a hard time, and then he starts to do better, and then Meghan has to deal with, her brother, dad, her sister is all over the internet telling stories about her again. So then obviously, like, that'll re-trigger her. But they're in a much better place than they were. It's still just, they're still in the process of healing from everything that's gone on. Let's see. Will Meghan continue her acting career? I know. You know what? I've heard it's a good show though. I just never really watched TV, but like I said, it is on my list of things that if I ever am going to sit down and binge watch something, I'm going to watch it. Because I actually heard like that it's like one of those shows that's actually like really good and you get into it. Let's see. Right now, acting is not her biggest priority. She's much more wrapped up in, the charity work that they're doing, what she's, her marriage, her family, the kids are little, so it's like, I like what we have going on because I can do a lot of this work from the comfort of home. And then, the kids are right in the other room with my mom or Harry or the babysitter. So I can go in and out and still be with them a lot. But if the right thing came along and it wasn't you have to shoot this 16 hours a day, 5-6 days a week kind of a thing, and it was more like, this is a movie that's telling an amazing story and it's gonna, really touch people's hearts and be super important, and I could just go and film for a couple weeks, she would do it. But like I said, it would have to really, really, really be that like perfect role, passion project type thing for her to get into it. I don't really think that like acting is something that she's like desperately like I miss and want to go back to. So, okay, you know what, Angela? I keep getting like psychically that her dad is a big ass narcissist, and I think that honestly, Doria went through a lot of narcissistic abuse with that man. I mean, it would make sense too. The thing is that she was a very young woman when Thomas started dating her, and it kind of sounded like he targeted and groomed her. Because she was a makeup artist on General Hospital, and he was the lighting director, and that's how he met her. And he was like in his mid to late 30s, and she was like 19 when they met. So, which is why, the other kids were like 17, 18 years older than Meghan in the first place. And I just feel like Doria is way too classy, and it's like, I'm not going to like bash her dad because that's her dad. But I always kind of felt like, yeah, Doria really went through some shit with Thomas. Honestly, okay, this is what's funny. Okay, Meghan was giving her dad money when she was working. You know, as much as he wants to be like, I did everything for Meghan, and acts like she was living off of him her whole life. That's not the case. Yes, he paid for certain things for her, like, any parent that has the money would, but Spirit saying, it wasn't just because it was like, I'm being a kind parent who wants to take care of my child. A lot of it was that narcissistic, look what I can do for my kid, and she's going to owe me for the entirety of the rest of her life because of it. So I'm doing it, just because part of it is her mom can't afford to. So I look like the better parent by doing it. But then he wasn't able to work as much because he had health problems. And so once Meghan was doing better, she was paying for a lot of his bills, and he was giving some of that money to his other kids too. So when she joins, the royal family and had to quit the show, and it was, listen, I'm not going to have this kind of income anymore, and I can't take money from the taxpayers of England to turn around and give it to you. So you're going to have to figure something out. That's when things really started to change. And then when he figured out I can get money from going out and selling stories about you, he chose that route over the love that he should have had for his daughter and trying to protect his child. So it all boils down to money and narcissism. Is Meg close with her mom's side of the family? Spirit said yes. Spirit saying the Doria side of the family isn't like a super duper super overly close side of, kind of family anyways. And it feels like they had like Doria had like a pretty rough upbringing. Maybe like one of those kinds of things where my dad had several families, so even though there's a lot of siblings, we didn't all grow up together. So there's certain members of her mom's side of the family that she's close with, but other ones, it's just like we just really didn't know you because you didn't grow up close to my mom for me to be able to develop a relationship with you as a young child. So, but they're not like the Markles where, it's basically they all act like they're fucking on Roseanne and they're gonna come out and tell every freaking tabloid and my chance to be on the TV and get a check. Let me go tell everybody what a horrible person my sister is, even though she never really did anything to me, just because I'm gonna get a little bit of money and all this clout off of it. That's what her dad's side of the family reminds me of. A bunch of people that look like they're related to Roseanne Barr belonged on that show. It's like Dan's sister-in-law's family or something. Or Archie Bunker, his sister that we never saw. It's like, but I feel bad for her. I mean, and the fact that in the documentary they said, Samantha and Thomas found Samantha's daughter after they were raised by the grandparents. That should tell you what kind of a person Samantha probably is. Because not only were you not raising your own kids, but you didn't even know where they were to keep in contact with them. And you had to find an email of theirs on Facebook, and then that's how y'all got reconnected. And then it ended up basically being that Ashley, the niece, just bonded more with Meghan and really didn't have anything to do with her mom anyways. I think that was Meghan's way of being like, look, my sister's a piece of freaking shit. Her own kid don't want nothing to do with her, but we're cool, without saying it, by just having Ashley in there and being like, we're so close. So, yes, guys, remember to like the video. So, are you guys all ready to move on to Lil Baby and Jayda? Because I have to get off of here and eat dinner, and I still have a client that I got to call tonight, too. How is Kate feeling with all of Meghan and Harry's success now? I think that okay, listen. Kate definitely has some jealousy because she was so used to being the one that was compared to Diana, being the whole, oh my God, look at her. She's this perfect little princess and she's going to be the future Queen of England. And so when, Meghan came in and challenged all of that, it pissed her off. It made her uncomfortable. It made her insecure. But I don't feel like she's so hyper insecure now because number one, obviously, her husband and his business associates did a good enough job of smearing Meghan's name and making her hated. But also, because she got this quote unquote promotion that now she's the Princess of Wales since Charles is king, that she kind of feels like, oh, well, I'm still superior because now I'm the actual Princess of Wales and now I'm really taking Diana's title, so I am the second coming of Diana. So Spirit said honestly, she's more worried these days about how many women her husband's cheating on her with and how much work she's gonna have to do filling the role of Princess of Wales. And because don't forget, they used to call Kate work shy, which is a nice way of saying she's lazy and doesn't want to work. When her and William first got together, like the Queen was like, "Oh, I want you guys to spend your first year like of marriage just focusing on each other," because William was, you know, finishing up his military service or whatever, flying the ambulances and stuff. But then when it was over, they had to be like, Kate, you need to fucking like actually get up off your ass and do something because everybody's starting to like talk about you. And so they had to like shove her into like, her roles and everything. And it's like, girl, what do you even do? You cut ribbons. You literally show up at like the opening of dog shelters and smile and cut a damn ribbon and dress up. Like, that's not hard work. Why is it so hard for you to go do that? But, and then every time that she's pregnant, it's like, oh my God, which I'm not saying that she doesn't have morning sickness, but I also think that it ends a little sooner than she lets the world know that it has, so that she can take advantage of that and stay inside a little bit longer. So now it's like, shit, I'm going to have to like work even more, and I don't want to do that. So I think that she's more worried about William's affairs and all the work that she's actually going to have to do now. I mean, who wants to work really? But we all got to do it. And I just thought that was hilarious when they would say that she's a work shy. I was like, what kind of freaking term is that? um. Oh, Charles was pissed. But see, this is the crazy thing too. Is it's like they're all like this is where I don't get where him or William or any of them are coming from and getting pissed off that like Harry and Meghan left, because on the flip side of that, you were supposedly going to slim down the monarchy and take away Eugenie and Beatrice's titles and all your siblings, and it was just supposed to be only you and William and Kate and their kids anyways. And so it's like, honestly, I think they're just mad because they can't control Harry and can't use him as the scapegoat anymore. But they definitely, Charles is pissed. Honestly, I think that the Queen always expected that this was going to happen. And Spirit saying that she was so old at that point that she was just more like, I don't really want to stress myself out like fighting this. And it was more William and Charles that were pushing her to be like, they can't do this half in, half out thing. You have to tell them they're all in or all out. And so she just got pushed into having to make decisions that she honestly didn't want to make because she was like, I'm old, I'm tired, I don't want to deal with this drama. If you guys are happy or not being here, then, good for you. So, anyways, guys, let's move on to Jayda and Lil Baby. What are your guys' questions there? Because I've got to go at 6 o'clock here because I have to call somebody by 6:15. I don't really know anything about them either. It's just that people keep asking me constantly about them in my comments. So I was just like, and then I saw something on the Shade Room or one of the blogs. I don't know if it was the Shade Room. I just keep saying the Shade Room because that's the only blog's name that I can think of right now. But where people were saying that they're back together, and then she said, I guess she's on some show and was saying you don't have to be back together with somebody to be cordial with them. So I was like, okay, let me just read on them real quick at the end of the live so that way we can get it out of the way. The only reason why I even know much about them is because of the whole mess when, with Sweetie and all that stuff. And then I was like, oh, okay. But I don't listen to his music and I don't pay that much attention. And I don't really pay any attention to Jayda or follow her. So, like I said, I always just see that name and I always just think, when you're in your 40s and 50s, are you still going to want people to call you Lil Baby? Did you think that name through before you picked it? So, let's see. Spirit. We need to know about Lil Baby and Jayda's relationship. Thank you. Okay, well, first of all, he's showing up as the King of Wands. So, that means that he's still out here throwing that dick around. And he's, always, it's like, because the moon card follows right behind it, it's like, what they're saying is, this man's always going to keep a secret. He's always going to have a double life as long as he can get away with it. He's always going to tell his partner, oh no, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And then the second that he gets the opportunity, he's going to run out and be back out in the streets. It's just about, well, hopefully I was good at hiding it this time. Hopefully the girl doesn't tell everybody. Hopefully nobody caught it and put it on TMZ. Hopefully, she doesn't say anything. So they're not fully back together, is what Spirit and the cards are saying, but they definitely still sleep together. It's it's a situationship, which that's sad. It's like, how do you go from being in a relationship with your baby daddy to a situationship with him? And yeah, thanks, you guys. Hold the questions so I can get through these ones. So, and Jada is in that space where it's like, I'm going to delude myself into thinking that this is better because I'm in control here. It's better that, if I have certain needs, I get them met by somebody that I've already hooked up with who knows what I like. He buys me things. He comes over to, take the baby out. He's got my back. He's my friend, that kind of thing. But he's still out doing him, and he's not going to settle down anytime soon. They'll keep doing this until she finally, Spirit saying they will keep doing this until she decides, I want a whole man who's going to stick beside me and not play games with me and not be running back and forth between me and everybody else. And then she'll move on and find it. But, until then, she'll just keep going back and forth and going back and forth and going back and forth with him. And Spirit saying, for him, of course he's gonna do this, because think about it. You see guys do this shit all the time. I'm not gonna step up and I'm not gonna be a real man about my shit and give you what you need, but I'll waste all your time and keep you tied up so you can't go and find somebody else, because then if you do, I have to find a new main girl that's going to allow me to do all the same things that you were doing. It's easy. Because guess what? Yes, there's always going to be a lot of women who are going to throw their ass at you and let you hit and, oh my God, and be so impressed by who you are. But you're not going to find, it's not easy to find some girl that's going to have your baby, that's going to hold you down, that's got her own, and still going to keep forgiving you every time that you fuck up. Usually women that got all those other things are going to be like, nope, you're not going to play games with me and we're not putting up with that shit. So when you find a girl who has her shit together, but then also lets you get away with doing everything, of course they're going to try to hold on to that and keep some other dude from getting that benefit. Right? And for her, it's the whole ego thing of, well, as long as I stick around, then you can't really get a real girlfriend. And who cares about little groupies and shit, as long as I'm not finding out about it, as long as you're not doing it in my face, that doesn't matter. I still get the benefit of the presents, the money, the time, the attention when I want it and when you're willing to give it to me. So a lot of this stuff is just fucking trauma bonding and egos and not wanting to let go because you don't want somebody else to come in and take your spot, but not wanting to force him to have to do right by you or leave, or for her to move on. And that's why all these girls will be on Instagram. Oh, well, you put up with anything from your broke baby daddy, so shut the fuck up. Or at least he's a millionaire. Oh, she's crying. But she's crying in a Rolls Royce and pulling tissues out of her Chanel bag, so make that okay. It doesn't make it any better just because your fucking Kleenex that you have to wipe your face with came from Chanel instead of Kmart. You're still crying because some dude's treating you like shit. And there's dudes out there that will have you in a Rolls Royce with a Chanel, smiling, respected, being happy. People forget that that's an option too. But the girls that are getting cheated on and crying in the fucking car are gonna sit there and act like, oh, well, it's better to do it in a Rolls Royce in order to justify it and to try to make it okay. And all dums that don't have any standards themselves are the ones that are gonna sit there and agree with it. Look at how Young Miami tries to hype up and act like being Diddy's beard and one of his harem is like so great, but then guess what happens? They all sit there and end up looking stupid fighting with each other anyways. Oh, you're the side chick. No, you're the side chick. Oh, you're the one that he calls to come and do this and that for him. Y'all are both dumb behind this, man. Everybody knows that Diddle Bop ain't shit. Who cares how much money he has? People around him are always dying, getting their careers ruined, getting ripped off. There's a whole line of people in his past and even his most recent past that all got nice things to say about what happened to them dealing with him. You might feel like he's treating you different right now, but guess what, baby? They all thought that they were special too. Until they weren't. So it's just like, hello, but it doesn't matter when you're getting spoiled in the moment. That's used to blind you. It's like, look at the shiny things so you don't look at the disrespect. I'm sorry, I'd rather have respect and buy my own shiny shit. Well, exactly. I mean, I was being nice and not getting into the details of a diddle bop and what he's done to people. I mean, just what. Look at all of his former artists. Look at Mary J. Blige. That woman's gonna be on tour for the rest of her damn life. And your supposed homeboy, brother, best friend, whatever the hell he is, he couldn't just give you $20 million or however much it was, or went and talked to Kendu and said, look, I'm going to give you $5 million, sign them divorce papers. You don't want shit from her, and I'll help you get a job. Mary, don't worry, we took care of it. You don't got to go through this. He's a billionaire, supposedly. What the hell would that? That would be like a couple pennies in a bucket to him. Because y'all know if the tables were turned and somebody made you into the billionaire that you are, helped do that, because Mary J. Blige is the reason why he is where he is today, that, and you were looking at this struggling, you'd be like, let me help you out. You know, you put in so that I could be where I'm at. Times get hard, I'm going to help you. Nope, he's just like, oh, please keep going on tour, and guess what? I'm going to come out and dance around every once in a while when I get into a show that you're at. So it's just the stress that these guys be putting these girls through. And for what? For what? So it is sad. And, and the saddest thing is, especially when it comes to like Jada in Miami, they make their own. They are so beautiful. They have their businesses. As much as, I make fun of Miami as a rapper, she's obviously good at selling shit to people because she has an engaging personality. So it's like, girl, you could be out here making your own damn money, not having to play beard to diddle bop and fighting his other beards on the internet. It, Jayda, look at Lil Baby is ugly. He is not an attractive man. He looks like he came out of the slow class. Let's be honest. He's always got his mouth hanging open, breathing from his fucking mouth. He looks like he's gonna pass out at any second. He's sitting there DMing academics. Give me your address. I'm gonna pull up, and yet he never freaking did. Like, how do you sit there and threaten to fight academics of all people and not follow through on it? And I was watching academics live about it because I was waiting for Millie to come on and give us the court updates. And I was just sitting there laughing because I was like, come on, it's academics. The man drinks fucking, what is it, Hennessy, like it's water. He sits his little chunky self in that chair all day long. You could run up, punch him, and run away, and he would, even if you didn't knock him out, he'd be out of breath after he tried to run after you. That it wouldn't get very far anyways. But just, how are you sitting there threatening him, but you don't even follow through? It's just like, oh my god, like he's a joke. And then like the videos I saw of him waving his hands around. Hey, I was like, people like this music? I mean, really, could you imagine? Could you imagine Lil Wayne trying to get away with something like that? No. You're coming for your tryouts. Hey, waving your hand around. No, the fuck? This is not rap. That's not music. That's not talent. Of course they do glamour magic. Because number one, they gotta do it so people fall for the bullshit of their stupid ass music that don't make any sense and have no talent anyways. And then secondly, so that they can get these girls to wanna hang out with them anyways. Because, or give them the time of day. Because they're not attractive. Like, this is the thing. We used to have Tupac. Tupac was a fine ass man. Tupac was beautiful. He was gorgeous. He looked like a freaking Egyptian king, a pharaoh. He looked like he was, somebody painted him. That man was so freaking gorgeous. On top of it, he had a funny ass personality and he was talented as hell and put out some good ass music. Whether it was his gangsta shit, whether it was his I fucked your bitch and I'm gonna just fucking diss you and say a bunch of wild ass shit to piss you off music, whether it was his conscious rap, he acted. That's what we had growing up. And so that's why I'm like, when I was raised on the fucking Tupacs, on the Method Man, you want to talk about another fine ass man with some damn talent, Method Man. And then y'all are trying to convince me that I'm supposed to be impressed by Lil Baby. With his fucking mouth open, breathing hard. Hey, hey. No, no. And Miami and Jayda need to remember that, you know what? If it was the 90s, you would have been pulling a Method Man and Tupac. Why the hell are you loving yourself for a Lil Baby so that he can go pay porn stars and cheat on you, and then they can go and make your ass look stupid on Twitter behind it? I'm sorry. I'm just like, this world is so damn lost. It is so damn lost. And that's why I'm just like, I can't. I cannot. We got spoiled and we had no idea how fucking spoiled we were growing up. The good music and the fine men to look at, because I feel bad for this generation. Y'all got ugly, untalented dudes who just stand on stage and mumble in their sweatpants and think that that's that we all should be impressed by. He is not attractive to me. I'm not saying he's the ugliest thing in the world, but he's just not. He's okay, but he ain't. Oh my god, you should be freaking losing all of your self respect over somebody like that. Elf on the Shelf. That's exactly what he freaking looks like. And listen, as much as people, Tory Lanez is some. I think Tory Lanez is cute. He's little, but he's cute. He's got a cute face. He looks good in his little suits. He makes some good ass music. The way that he be walking, and he's got some BDE, that's for damn sure. And obviously, he probably really does have some real BD because look at, we're in court over that D. So he definitely put it down on somebody. The baby, I think the baby is really cute too, but it's just, it sucks that he obviously does not know how to treat women. Oh, Big Sean, he's fine. You know who else is cute? And I always, I swear to God, every 2 weeks, I'm like, oh my God, I forgot Kanye's actually really attractive too. Like, I'll look at a picture of Kanye and I'm just like, damn, Kanye looks really nice in that picture. I always forget that Kanye is attractive, not because he looks weird sometimes or anything like that. It's just because Kanye's personality and what he's been doing his whole career is so big, and that hits you first that you notice like his looks second. And he has such strong energy. It's like his energy enters the room before he does. And so it's just like, but then when you really look at Kanye, it's like he has some really nice features and bone structure. Like, he's a very handsome guy too. So wait, what? If you meet someone that's 5'11", what then? Oh, okay. Sorry, I didn't see Sana's other thing about like it's still not worth it for to lose me to be over 6 feet. I was like 5'11" isn't that short, but now I get it. Who's not cute at all, Camry? No, guys don't sell no half and half. I mean, and that's the crazy thing is these are just kind of okay looking at best, but they wouldn't settle for some girl that's very average looking. It's like no, she has to not only be extremely pretty in the face, but also have her body done. Also, dress in designer and this and that, and it's like they have the highest fucking standards. I know that's the only problem though. I was like these short guys out here really have been cutting up and causing all kinds of drama and havoc. It was like between Tory Lanez and just the baby alone, there's been enough drama that they have caused with females to last us a damn lifetime. Got Kelsey and Meghan over here fighting over guns and lying about it in court, and then what's her face, Danny Lay wrestling with the phones on live while they're holding a newborn, and it's just like Jesus Christ. It's like y'all are really making that short man syndrome thing seem like it's a real thing right now, aren't you? So, but at some point, Spirit's saying, Jada will realize her worth and she'll move on. I keep feeling like she's going to end up with a football player, some kind of athlete. I don't see her sticking with the music dudes. I really think she'll go get herself a professional, like a football player. she'll look like a little teeny tiny midget next to some big old football player, and I keep feeling like it'll be one of them chubby teddy bear ones, like the linebackers. So, you know, she's just gotta remember who she is and get her self esteem back. Oh, he still messes with that girl. And I gotta go in a minute, guys, because I still have to call somebody. And just a reminder too, psychicbellalove.com, use code winter all in caps. I will not be accepting new clients next year. It'll be a waiting list to become a client. So get in before the year ends. Or patreon.com/psychicbellalove, $6 a month. We have twice weekly exclusive lives, all kinds of uncensored content. All the content that's in there is completely separate. We talk about the Illuminati, history, everything. Nothing is off limits in there. So, and also, I do have a new channel that will be dropping in January. I posted the links to it on my community tab, and it will be focused on healing your spiritual self and becoming the best version of you. So it will have content dropping. First week of January, I will post in the comments of this live on like once it's done processing the link to that because I forgot to post it in here earlier. So this is the thing. Aisha's exposed him before for still messing around with her, right? Because Spirit's saying, as much as everybody wants to dismiss her and act like she's just obsessed with him, Spirit's saying he'd be going over there dropping off dick when he drops off the kid. And, it's not consistently, but does he still hit it every, few months when she's looking good and he's over there? Yeah. So that's why she feels comfortable to keep speaking out because he's making her comfortable to keep speaking out and feeling like she's important enough to do so. I mean, that's the thing, guys, too. A lot of times, everybody always wants to dismiss, oh, his first BM, second BM, third BM, Moneybag Yo's got a bazillion of them himself. They're just trying to stay relevant and hold on to the clout because their baby daddy is somebody now. No, their baby daddy is still going over there and screwing them. And that's why the girl feels comfortable to keep throwing shots or to say certain things because she knows that she's important enough for him to come over and sleep with her and pillow talk to her. I mean, let's be honest. So, anyways, guys, I am going to go. I love you all. Thank you so much for riding with us. I will be back next Friday, of course. And then on the 30th, we will have Dario De Niro on to talk about. And this will be a preview of the kind of content that will be on my new channel, which is we will be talking about financial literacy, especially in regards to minorities and their money. And that is what he specializes in. He's a financial consultant. So if you have financial questions, start getting them together. And in the meantime, if you follow me on Instagram, I am Psychic Bella Love over there. You will see I reposted one of his reels. He was answering our question that I had, like many of us do, on whether or not we've got to declare our child support on taxes if our baby daddies send it to us on, Cash App, Zelle, whatever, because of the way that the rules have changed. So he's a great resource. He's going to be over here. I'm going to interview him. He's going to give us some money tips because, we're looking at a recession, so we all got to be smart about our money going forward. But I love you guys. I hope everybody has a good one. And of course, you'll see me next week. And make sure you like the video on your way out. Bye, guys.